All right, so this is day number 3 of the daily going live daily challenge. And to be completely honest, I'm recording this a little bit earlier than the time that it's airing because today is the long walk day. Now, on the long walk days, that's where I just got to get out and continue the training and walk for a lot longer time. So the first round of the walk, we started off walking. We did the first round with a 60-pound vest. And then when I got back, and amazingly, my wife walked with me. She wore a vest and she had some weight in it. It wasn't up to 60 pounds, but she's starting to have, I guess, see the fun of rucking. But after the round 1, come back and then switch out vests and drop to 48 pounds and do another round of the walking. And then I'll probably come back, drop it down to 24 pounds and do another round of walking. So a lot of walking today. So it was a lot easier for me to just stop in between the rounds and just record the video now. And then it'll probably go up in a couple hours. Because by the time I'm done, I'm probably going to be ready to sleep. But the main thing that I wanted to talk about today was, I think it's very similar to what we're doing today, is really pushing ourselves past our limits. Because when we're really training for something that is beyond where we currently are, there comes a part of that process where you do have to push yourself more than you're actually comfortable with. And when it comes down to pushing yourself, there's going to be a lot of things that tell you you want to quit, and a lot of things that say that, no, we shouldn't do this, or a lot of things that say, well, yeah, you've done enough. But if you really want to reach a place that you've never been to before, then you got to keep pushing yourself. And the same thing is true in business. Now, I'll say specifically for our business, one of the very big things that we're continuing to push ourselves on is, for me, how to be a better leader with my team. Because probably about 4 to 5 months ago, I noticed that members of my team started getting a little too comfortable where they were. And part of that is that I hadn't done a good job of really painting the picture of, hey, the journey that we were on as a team and the progress that we needed to make to get to the goals. Now, at the beginning of the year, we all talked about what some of those goals were. But at some point during the process, I think people started to get a little bit comfortable, and we kind of took our focus off of what the goal was. So we stopped pushing ourselves to make progress towards that goal, and we just started really falling into a place of comfort. And as we were doing the reviews, I noticed we were kind of catching some of the same problems and having to fix some of the same things kind of over and over. And I was like, okay, why is this the case? And what I took a step back and said, all right, I didn't do a great job of painting the picture on where the goal was and then where we are today. And I had to get better of giving the staff and giving the team a little bit more perspective. And I had to focus on giving the staff a little bit more context about where we were going and how we were going to get there. And then also, where are we today compared to where we need to be? And then also really building their confidence that, hey, you guys can do this. I know we used to close the books in, let's say, 17 days. Now I think we need to really get to the point where we close the books in 13 days or 15 days, and really helping them get the confidence on hey, what do we need to adjust in our process to get us to that goal? And I know that it's probably going to be a little bit uncomfortable for a period of time until we start to get used to it and until we start to get familiar with it. And as I began, getting back in there and pushing the team a little bit more and reminding them on, hey, here's what our goal is, here's where we are today, and then focusing on helping feed their confidence so they could start to close that gap. Now, we haven't closed all of our gaps yet, but we are making progress. And also a thing that I had to figure out how to do a better job of is being able to help them celebrate the progress that they were making. Because I think as a leader, sometimes it can get so, I guess, easy to just fall into focusing on what the goal is and focusing on what the outcome is, that you forget to really celebrate the progress along the way. Because I am definitely one of those types of people that I can just put my head down and I can just focus and keep working and keep working. And I'm really good about delayed gratification, to where I can just keep working, keep working, keep working. But I had to realize not everybody has the same relationship with delayed gratification as I do. And to be honest, sometimes that is actually a weakness for me, because sometimes in that head down, constant working and working and working, I'm not looking up enough to recognize I might be headed down the wrong path. And so being able to stop and help the team celebrate, it also gave me time as a leader to stop and reflect, like, hey, have I been leading them down the right path? Because I know that I have to consistently focus on leading the team, and every now and then we got to stop and we should celebrate the progress. But also during that celebration, it's a great time for me to stop and reflect and do a lot of thinking and understanding. Am I leading them down the right path? Or are there some areas where I've made a wrong turn and they've been great about following my leadership, but I got to really question, am I leading them the best way possible? And so a lot of times what I had to do was really define incremental milestones to be able to say, okay, all right, when we reach this point or when we achieve this milestone, we'll stop and we'll celebrate. Because while the team is celebrating, I can also get some introspection and I can actually get some perspective. And then also another thing that helps is doing things like going to conferences. Now, I love going to conferences because I get around other firm owners and I get to get so much perspective and I get to look at things from a different light that I probably haven't been looking at when I've been home, heads down, just constantly focusing on things. Like recently, I spoke at a Association of Legal Administrators conference, and it gave me a ton of perspective because I got a chance to, well, I was presenting there, but I got a chance to get some feedback from some of the people that were there. I got a chance to, go to dinner with some of the people, and many of them don't have an accounting or a finance background. Like some of them, they may be like the head of legal administrators for a firm. And one lady, she had about 380 legal administrators that she's responsible for leading. Another lady led a billing department for a law firm, and every month her team is responsible for processing the billing for over 284 lawyers. And just talking to these different people and their different roles, what are some of the challenges they have? And then it helped me take a step back and really look at, all right, how is my team doing a good job helping firms like that be able to perform and be able to function proficiently and efficiently and profitably? And it really gave me a chance to really see, like, hey, some areas where I was directing the team's attention, that probably isn't the best, I guess, place for them to put their attention when it comes down to helping our clients who are having these type of challenges as a really large law firm. And so it really helped us put things in perspective. And it's also part of the reason it helped us clarify and really crystallize the data analytics that we're doing, or the law firm data analytics service that we launched. Is being able to talk to other law firms gave us that perspective. And so I always encourage people, while you may go to conferences within your industry, for example, I run an accounting firm. Yes, I go to accounting conferences, but I also go to law firm conferences because I don't want to just get, perspective from people in my industry. I also want to get perspective from my customers, what's going on in their industry. Plus, you get to see people who are a little further ahead than you, and you can start to identify, okay, what are those areas where I need to push a little bit more? Like, where are some areas where I've probably gotten a little too comfortable and we're no longer making progress? And then, like I say, understanding that, yes, while I may be excited because I'm at these events, when I come back, I have to remember my team didn't go to the same event. They might not have the same level of excitement that I had about this. So I also have to keep that in mind in how I bring this to the team, and understand that sometimes I do have to take my excitement that's way up here and I have to start breaking it down into smaller pieces and giving the team a little bit of that kind of push, like in bite sizes, so that they can gradually make progress. Because at the end of the day, it's not really about how fast we can get to our outcome. For me, it's really about, can we make consistent, steady progress? And yes, there are phases where we go through and we make a lot of progress all at once, but that may not necessarily be the constant. What I do want to be the constant is that we can look up, whether it's every week, every month, we can look up and we can say, we've made some progress. And so, sorry about that. Those are the things that I think I'm really excited about, and those are the things that are on my mind. And it comes down to really pushing and really helping make that progress. And I know Lola and I have done a podcast recently where we talked about, really giving feedback to your team and or things that frustrate a leader. And one of those big things that I noticed that does tend to frustrate a leader is that when the leader's ambitions are here, but the rest of the team is back here. And a lot of times it's not that the rest of the team is back here because they're just lazy or they just lack ambition. It's just they don't have the same perspective as the leader. And so as a leader, the picture that I saw that got me excited about where we could go, I had to do a better job of how do I start to paint pieces of that picture for the staff that's back here, because as they start to see bits and pieces of the picture, they started moving closer and closer and closer and closer to where I was. Now, they may not ever get on the exact same level of ambition as an excitement as me, and that's fine. But what I do want is I want them to continue making progress, because, here's the reality. I own the firm, so no one in the firm is probably going to be as excited or take as much ownership as I do in the firm. And I'm cool with that, because when you're the owner, you have a different perspective. And I don't expect anyone in the organization to take the same level of ownership or to have the exact same level of excitement as me. But what I do want is I want people to be excited about the progress that they are making towards a worthwhile outcome. And as a leader, it's my job to paint that picture, because if people aren't making progress or people aren't pushing themselves past their comfort zone, what I tend to look at it and say, either I did a bad job in painting the picture of what possible looks like, or I did a bad job motivating them, or I did a bad job hiring them. And all three of those things I can take personal responsibility for, and I can work on and improve. So I got to get back to the next round of the hiking. So I will see you again tomorrow on the next live.